episode because it is the first woman on the come up so far. Miss Amina Diop. Introduce yourself, Amina.
Hi. I'm Amina Diop, and I am CEO of the Diop Agency and also Senior Vice President of A&R at Universal Republic.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a recent accomplishment, wasn't it? Somewhat recent.
Yeah.
How's the transition into a label been?
It's been busy and exciting. It's always good to be learning new things. Mm-hmm. And, going from predominantly management and marketing and that kind of stuff over to really understand the inner workings and the corporate side of the label is definitely exciting.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So
well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So let's start from the beginning. You're from New York?
Yes.
Right? So tell us a little bit just about your childhood, how you grew up, and then transitioning into, I know you went to school, so.
I'm from Queens in an area called like Laurelton or Springfield Gardens is what they'll call it. It's right off of Springfield Boulevard and North, South Conduit, whatever. And grew up with my grandmother, in between my mom and dad and all of that stuff. And I guess it's just a regular childhood. My grandmother's Jamaican. She's born in Cuba, but her family's Jamaican. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, growing up with Jamaican grandparents, anybody that knows that is very interesting. Cook every day, no, it's not like leftovers, it was a different way of growing up. You know what I'm saying? It's not like how children today grew up. Right. By any means, we had responsibility. I was a latchkey kid. I had a key to my house since I was 5. Got bused, went to school in a predominantly white area, but I lived, in the hood.
Okay. Did you always know you wanted to do something in music, or when did that kind of spark in you?
No, I don't know when it sparked. Honestly, it was never my intention to be in music.
Wow.
Ever.
Did you have an idea of what you wanted to do growing up?
Yeah, I wanted to be a doctor.
And how did that change into this industry?
I just didn't go to school to be a doctor. That's, I think, what happened. When I went to college, I was like, I don't like college like that. You know what I'm saying? That much schooling. And because I had to put myself through school. It's not like I got a free ride where I could go to Hillman, on TV. You know what I'm saying? And then, study to do that, and you have parents, taking care of you. No. So because I had to support myself, that wasn't an option. So I was like, I cannot work 40 hours a week plus go to school full time. It's just too much.
So what did you go to school for?
International business and global marketing.
And then during school, what was your thought process on? Did you have goals at that time, or were you kind of just floating through and kind of feeling it out?
No, I was just thinking my father's West African, so he speaks French. So I already, I'm proficient in French. Nice. And in school in New York, you have to take a language regents, which is a citywide thing. So I can write French and understand French. So I was like, okay, cool. Maybe I go to school for something global, or something that I can travel with. And that was really my main focus, was
you wanted to
have something else. Yeah. I always loved to travel my whole life, and I prefer that. So I was like, okay, well, how am I gonna get out of America? All right, boom, I'm gonna go to school. You know what I mean? So my schooling was heavy in that overseas kind of
Okay, so let's fast forward. You graduate, and then what?
I got into music because I was doing promoting.
Okay.
At local clubs in Buckhead, and I was terrible at it.
What?
And so I did my internship in my junior year at Spear Records, which is a subsidiary of Arista, with Shakespeare and Tasha Stafford. So that's how I got into music.
That's something I actually wanted to ask you about too. How important do you think internships are?
It's key to knowing if you want to do something, not just in music. I mean, with anything, why not try it? Because then, what if you hate it? What if that's not something that you're really passionate about? So I definitely would suggest anyone to, if you're able to get your feet wet in the genre that you're thinking of going in, I would definitely suggest it.
And in entertainment in particular, it gets kind of tough because you find yourself, at least from my experience and some people I know, interning for a long time because you kind of got to pay your dues. It's not the easiest industry to break into. So what advice would you give on how do you know when you need to stop interning, I guess?
say start early, because if you start in music early, like I said, I interned in college, so you have different responsibilities in college than you would as, you know, as an adult.
So starting early, and then when do you suggest, like, when is it time to start charging, basically, stop working for free?
Once you feel like you have something to offer, you know, at that point. Like, I mean, not to say that when you initially start interning, if you don't have anything to offer, because you do. But once you feel like you've not perfected, but at least gotten to a point where you could go somewhere else and get paid for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then you would want to stop interning. But usually, like in the music industry, internships progressively turn into positions.
Yeah.
Like if you are doing a good job. If not, then you may not be offered the position, but you might go somewhere else and get offered a position.
Okay. So you were promoting, and you interned as well. How did you break into music management?
That was purely accidental. Like that was not my plan. I was working with girls at that time. It was like Buffy the Body and these different things, and like hoops and, you know, that kind of stuff. And I was also casting music videos and stuff like that, and, you know, kind of doing those kind of things. And I think at the time, maybe like Gucci was like in between management or something like that, and I started like, because we've always been friends, like doing things for him, like more like executive assistant kind of work, while I still was running Melange, which was my other company at that time. And it just went hand in hand, because, you know, rappers and or artists and girls and all that stuff go right hand in hand. So that it was totally accidental. I remember one time him saying like, yeah, just my sister's my manager, so she'll call you. And I was like, what?
Oh, I am?
When did that happen? So
that's my resume.
Right. So that's kind of how that happened. And then after that, I got Thug and Pee Wee and all of that, because they were all 1017 families. So I just started.
So Gucci was kind of like your breakthrough into the industry. And you said
for music, yeah.
For music management. And then you started with him because you had a friendship built beforehand.
Right. And he just needed help.
Right.
So it wasn't like, I want to be your manager or anything like that. Even now, Gucci's really self-managed. It's not like we actually manage him, honestly. It's like we just more assist him with his day-to-day. He's his manager, for the record. So, but yeah, so then I just got into like working with a lot of his artists, and it kind of segued to me start working with my own artists.
So if an artist was looking for management and came to you looking for management, what would you say are the top 3 things you would want it to see in that artist to take them on, or even consider taking them on?
They would have to be progressive, like game changing, like in their craft. They would have to have tons of music and be like a self-starter, you know?
What do you mean by that?
Not require me to wake you up and get you out of bed.
Right.
You know, or
So
hold your hand through, you know? It's like a self-starter. Like if you can start yourself, then, you know, I can help you keep it running.
Right.
But like you have to be able to self-start. Push button start.
Right. So what do you think an artist should look for in a manager?
I think artists get managers way too early.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't feel like you should, unless you're an artist that has something to manage.
Right.
You cannot manage yourself.
Right.
I don't feel like
you're giving a cutaway early.
I don't feel like a cut of nothing.
Right.
Because usually there's nothing.
Right.
So I just don't feel like artists are like, oh my God, Amina, can you manage me? Like, no, because you have nothing to manage that you cannot manage yourself. Until you get to a point where you cannot respond to your own emails, or you cannot, like, why do you need a manager? You are not doing anything but surfing the net. Take time out and, you know what I'm saying? Like, do something else proactive and productive for yourself. So I generally tell people like, no, I don't want to be your manager. Not because I don't like your music or anything like that, but it's just because you don't need a manager.
Right.
So like, why? Why would I take that on myself now?
Right. So if somebody got to a point where they were needing a manager, what do you think are qualities that somebody should look for in a manager?
Someone that's tenacious, someone that really loves your music, You know, that's the key thing. Like, you can't sell anything that you don't
Really believe in.
And someone that's honest. Really, that's it.
So starting out in the game early, I know you said you started with Gucci and then transitioned into other artists that were part of the family. How did you, moving on, well, there, and then also when you started working with different people, how did you gain the trust of executives or your peers to know that you, or even now at Republic, that you have an ear and the vision for talent?
I think I was blessed of the kind of talent that are attracted to me. Yes, they're all crazy as hell, but they're so groundbreaking, you know, that it just, when you stand next to something that looks fantastic, you look fantastic. So whether or not I was good at doing anything that I'm doing, it looks good, you know, it looked good. So that the industry is smoke and mirrors. So that's all it needs. It doesn't matter, you know, just being honest. Nothing else honestly matters. It's just how good it looks.
Right.
You know, so.
Some people sell themselves at some point too.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's really honestly just really what it is. And then just being myself, you know, like people pretty much can decipher bullshit rather easily, you know. I've always been the same way. I've always had the same number. I don't change it. You can always get me. Someone asks me to do something, I generally do it, you know, if it's easy, like, and that's just it. Like, you set up your reputation and you set up how people perceive you by what you give out, you know. And I just try to be like a regular person. Like, I have not turned into a weirdo. Like, people in the industry are so fucking weird. I'm like, why are y'all so extra? Like, why is everything like now so extra? Like, oh my gosh, these M&Ms, like I can only eat the blue ones out the pack. Like, why? What happened? They're all the fucking same. They taste the exact same. The colors are just different. You know what I'm saying? Or like, when I go out, like I have to have like roses in like every room that I enter because, you know, that is my chi. Like, why are you so fucking weird now? Like, why can't you just be normal? You know what I'm saying? So I haven't turned into like a weird, really weird person. So, and I'm not planning on it.
Yeah, I don't think you should.
Right. And that's pretty much like everyone, like, to me, it's just so odd that people like get money and just turn lunatic-ish. Right. I'm like, what just happened here? Why are you so weird? Like, you were not like this, but you know, to each his own. Maybe it's really because people really want to be weird, and now, like, when you're famous, like you can have an excuse to just be like super eccentric, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's it. I don't feel the need to do that.
Good. Mm-hmm. Speaking of weird and crazy, what are some of the craziest things that you deal with being an artist manager that people might not know or people might not see, or aspiring managers need to prepare for?
I would say just prepare for whatever your artist is, for them to lose all regular sensibility and they can no longer do anything. They have started over from infancy, right? They can no longer call the doctor or dentist or check their Sky Miles account or pay any of their bills. Like, they can't do anything. So they're totally infants. Like, they no longer know how to do anything. Yeah. So prepare for that. Like, literally nothing. Like, I can't, can you, like, what? No. What? Like, yeah, can you sign this, fill this out for me? Like, so you forgot how to write? Cool. Got it.
Wow.
Heard you. So yes, that's what people need to be prepared for. They no longer can do anything at all.
It's like your kids.
But not quite. Because you birthed them, so you have to deal with them.
That's funny. That's funny. So I know you spoke about reputation and kind of the energy you give out. Sometimes, this is clear, it's no secret, this is a male-dominated industry.
Check.
So as a woman, what advice would you give to women in this industry on being taken seriously?
The entertainment industry is a fun industry, right? So I don't ever suggest to tell people like be super serious and this and that or that. I would say have fun. If you're a woman coming into the industry and this is your passion, like I would say have fun, do your job, more so. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to excel. If you're a woman, you have to, be here. If you're a black woman, you have to be here. You get what I'm saying? Or a brown girl or any other girl, right? That's non-white. So you have to do more. So don't be like, oh, well, I'm busting my ass and this is another thing. You're going to have to.
Yeah.
Like, people
Times
talk
10.
about glass ceilings and all these different things. Of course, you can break the glass, but you're going to have an anvil, like a 200-pound anvil to break the glass, opposed to, a chair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just how it is. Like, fair or not fair, it's just what has to happen. So, I would say just do your job. Like, don't get caught up in the bullshit and just be great. Like, you have to be exceptional at what you do. Like, you have to fight harder and, smarter and just that,
Yeah.
And have fun doing it too. Like, don't get so stressed out. You're like, oh my God, like, live your life. Like, even if you are at a job and this and that and you give it your all and it doesn't work out, you're alive, you have breath, you have energy, you have, go to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
And you need experience.
You need the experience. So just have fun and be great.
Yeah, because you're saying have fun, and then but sometimes it's like, because you were like, don't be too serious. But sometimes I feel like women in this industry feel like they have to be serious or almost mean.
You do not have to. Like, I mean, that's an approach.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has a different approach to the way they do their job. I'm saying, if this is someone asking me my advice, I don't approach it that way. Like, yes, I can be a bitch often when it calls for that. You know what I'm saying? But if not, then I'm not going to. I make jokes a lot. I'm very silly. Like, I like to have fun. Like, I don't want to be miserable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At anything I do. I don't want to, like, if I could sit down at an office job and just be fucking miserable and gripe, oh, my supervisor and this and that. Like, who wants to do that? Like, you're in the entertainment industry. You can travel the world. You have, like, the world is your oyster. Like, so why would you get into this job, the most fun, it's and music, it's people's soundtrack to their life. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you want to come here and be fucking miserable? You know what I'm saying? Like, go to a miserable job and be miserable. Right? You know what I'm saying? So
there's lots of those out there.
Lots of those.
So we talked about some of the crazy parts about your job. What are some of the perks and what's most satisfying to you about being on artist management and now Vice President of A&R?
Perks with the at the label is just everything is a perk at the label, actually. Like, just being able to work with, like, truly nice people. Like, they're not assholes. It's not like, it's none of that. Like, everyone is super nice. I love Monty and Avery. I work closely with Wendy and Rob, and they're fantastic. And then I have my whole crew. I have a whole crew there, like Nigel and Saint and Duro and Xtina, and so we have fun.
Yeah.
So that's tons of fun. So everything is a perk there. A perk with what I do in management is you get to, like I said, be part of people's soundtrack to their life. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what music is about. I get to meet all kind of great, ambitious young talent, travel the world. It allows me time to have with my children, like, in a non-traditional way, where I have to 9 to 5 and this and that. Sometimes they travel, with me. So it's the perks of freedom. That's what it is. Like, being able to truly be, like, free with your time and not have days of the week. Like, oh my God, it's Friday. Like, Friday and Monday are the same day to me.
Right.
And Sunday and Saturday. Right. Like, all of those days are one day. So it doesn't matter. Like, I can travel Wednesday through, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, I have to wait till Friday. The only time Friday, Saturday, Sunday means anything is when the kids are in school. Otherwise, they absolutely mean nothing.
Right. They all intertwine.
And nothing. Nothing means anything except days the banks are closed. I'm like, what's today? What holiday is that? I'm like, Aisha, do you know today's a holiday? Girl, I am at the bank and the bank is closed. Like, those are only days that mean anything to me.
Yeah.
Thanks, up. What's going on today? Like, it's Labor Day. I'm like, God damn. Because when you're not in school, you know how you forget?
Yeah.
Like, if you're not in school, you legit would not remember half of these holidays.
Yeah.
All you're going to remember is, like, Christmas, Thanksgiving, if you're religious, like Easter, maybe. Like, outside of that, like, it's what? It's President's Day. I'm like, President's Day? Like, yeah. Columbus Day? Oh, do we still get off of school? I was like, no. Oh, okay. Like, stuff like that.
So how did you get this new position? How did it come about?
I have never, you know what? As luck would have it, I have never applied for anything in this music industry. I don't know how I got stuck being my man. Like, never. I'm like, how did that happen?
That's a good guy.
Never. So even that was just dropped on my table. Like, can you do this? And I'm like, what? No. I'm like, what? And I have to come to the office? They're like, no. You can stay in Atlanta. You can have your office there, like your same office. And I was like, oh, okay. They're like, we'll give you a corporate car. You can travel. You know, this and that and the third week. You know, and I was like, all right, let me think about it. And then I was like, yeah, why not?
That's amazing. That's amazing. But for you to get all these things and they kind of fall in your lap, it's not, I think you deserve credit for that, is what I'm trying to say. Like, there's some kind of, whether it's your work ethic or you've shown and proved yourself, if somebody trusts you like that and approaches you for that.
I think it's in the grand scheme of things, everybody has something for them. Like, my path is already there for me, so like it's gonna be hard to like me not get those things. Like, they're just for me. Like, the things that happen, good or bad, is some bad shit. Like, last year, was it last year? I sure 2 years ago.
2 years.
2 years ago, I was like having the worst year of my life. Like, not financially, thankfully, but just in general. Like, bad place, energy off. Like, everything was like, what is this about? Like, I should just like be done with this. And then like right after I got my energy together, like we were out back and forth, and I think we had like, I was saging this office. I was like, this has got some bad juju around this, can't, like, something is going wrong. And yeah, and then I cleared the slate, because like energy can fuck you up. It'll start fucking your path up, right? And then I got right back on path. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything started coming back, like, okay, this is that and third. It was just like bad energy. And I'm not like spooky crazy with it, but I'm like really into that. I'm like, this shit is off. Like, everything, like, I would just go, my car got stolen at the gas pump. Like, just shit wasn't clicking, like, with some of my clients and stuff. Like, just, everything was just like off, you know? And then once I figured out what it was and cleared that out, I'm back on my path again. You know how like sometimes like I had to get around a thorn bush.
Right.
Like, there was a thorn bush in my path. I had to like uproot it, throw the shit aside, and then I'm back on my yellow brick road.
Good. And we all have those thorn bushes.
Yeah.
Sometimes some are worse than others. Sometimes they're more frequently for other people. What advice do you give on not letting one of those bring you down completely?
You have to be able to adapt, but really you have to identify it. You get what I'm saying? Like, people are like, oh my God, my look is so bad and this and that and that. Like, I know people who think that their look is so horrible, right? But they're fucking horrible parents. You know what I'm saying? Or you're doing something like real fucked up. Like, so you have to like go in and like clean your shit up. You know, like my grandmother, like I told you, I was raised by Jamaican people, like they feel like your life can't get right if your house is dirty. You know what I'm saying?
That's my mother.
You know why your house? You know why your shit's so fucked? Look at your house.
And she's Colombian.
Like,
she's like it's a sin. This mess is a sin.
All of those people, like foreigners, like always have like, regardless if they're from Middle East, Africa, Jamaica, Caribbean, wherever, South America, whatever, they are like, you know. So that's how she would be like, oh, your house. But in some regard, it's true.
Yeah.
You know, like if your stuff is not together, don't. And so to go back to your question, what I would say is, don't be afraid to deal with shit head on. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a thorn bush in your path, uproot that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Don't just really like try to find all kind of different ways to like, maybe if I jump across the thorn bush, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe if I put on clothes that the thorns won't touch my skin. No, uproot the fucking bush. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of times people like try to maneuver around issues instead of like dealing with them head on. Like, don't maneuver around them. Fix it.
Right.
It's the easiest way. It might be the most difficult, painful way, because most people don't like to have confrontation, but it's way better. I like confrontation.
Yeah. And it
Confront
solves
it
it.
and faster.
It never comes back. It's
Never
not
comes back.
pushed away. You solved it. Wipe your hands.
It's done. And then you can like be free, like to live the rest of your life. I'm with that.
During all your years of hard work, were there any lows that you had where you thought about maybe giving up or changing paths or anything like that?
Yeah. I don't think I've had lows, but they weren't like really business lows. Like, I'm telling you, 2 years ago, I think was the only time that I was like really like off my square for real. But outside of that, no. I think just aside from like personal things, like my father died a few years back, and that was a low, but like personal, not like really business.
But those effects.
Yeah, they affect you because they get like, and my dog died once.
Oh no.
And those were it. That was it. Like pretty much, usually I'm like very quick to like bounce back from things, but like I cried very bad for my dog.
Oh,
No, with your dad, you already know. Like, you know how that was. I'm a daddy's girl, so I was like crushed. But my dog, I never had another pet.
I can't imagine. I have a dog who's mine.
I never had another pet after that, and that was in college. So that was it. Like over the past, like that's been that. But luckily, like as far as business goes, like I have not.
So where do you find your strength in those moments to bounce back?
I think that's like like the kind of person that comes from like, because sometimes people grieve forever. I think I'm still grieving, but I'm just the type of person that like I can't be like stopped really from like there's a certain way that I like to live and certain things that I want to do, so I'm going to do them.
Right.
So you have to have that kind of resolve like as a person, period, because I mean, just every day, like regardless if you're in this industry or if you work at Publix or a grocery store, like it takes some will to get up in the morning. Like on some days, it's like this bed feels too good, it's too cold outside, it's too hot outside. Like I just want to chill, but you can't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that takes that comes from inside. I think.
Yeah, that hustle. I think that differentiates two different kinds of people.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find a work-life balance? Because you're in artist management, and now with the label, I'm sure you added even more to your plate.
It is very difficult. Being a mother and having a relationship, being a business person, running a company takes a lot of time. So you have to have like good people around you. So I've been blessed to have like really good people around me. It took time. That's super hard, like to find like good people to work with. Mm-hmm. Takes time, because I have Republic is fully staffed, but then I have my own company, so I have to make sure like my people are good too. So finally got that in a good space. Like the people I work with are fantastic.
So you build a team for that.
You build a team. You can't do this by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. I personally don't feel like you can even manage an artist. The artists of the caliber of artists that I have, you could not do that alone.
Mm-hmm.
Impossible. They require way too much. Every single one of them. If it's a growing new talent or established talent, they require different things.
Right.
Because there are different points, but they still require a fucking lot, like a whole lot. Jesus Christ. So yeah. So your staff is definitely, super important.
How do you find?
Shit, I have no idea. I found Aisha. I didn't. Snake found Aisha. Not found her. Like she. Well, actually, she was kind of sent from God because they're both Muslims. So Allah sent Aisha to me and put that. And then her sister is Snake's day to day, like his right hand. So we have Aisha, Aya. Then I have Jen. She's in Boston. I have Gi. He runs the office when here, because Aisha's always traveling and doing production of movies and all that. And I have Snake, and he's on the road with Gooch and does road management. And now he has a new situation at a major label, which I will not announce for him. And
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And so we have and then we have interns. So we have Malcolm, and like Malcolm's my intern, and I got him, and I'm going to bring him on like full time too when he graduates in December. So yes, you can ride out your internship.
That's awesome.
Malcolm lasted because we had like the whole office was full with interns. They were fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Lunatic-ish. They caused so much drama. That was in my 2-year drama period. I had such a just growing. It's like growing pains because you have an office and you're staffing it, and then more people are more headaches.
Yeah.
And like we're tight knit here. Like everyone's like Gi. If you were here and he's here, he's quiet. He's in his office. He's doing whatever. Aisha's like whatever Aisha. And these like we had like just it was so much energy though, and I was just like, wait, y'all all nuts. Like it's hard to find good people to work with.
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm not a messy person, so I don't like a whole bunch of drama. We had like Office.
Yeah,
Remember, I said
interns?
we had office drama. The interns were nuts. But let me tell you why. Because, there's another intern that I still do like too anti. Like I do him too because he does not flyers and stuff, right? There's a few of them that I still like interact with, but no, they were insane, living mad. Let me tell you why. Because interns, like sometimes interns are fans.
Okay.
Right?
I see.
Of artists or fans of what the fuck ever. And they're so extra. Like you don't really know. You don't know if you can trust them.
Right.
They're interns.
You
like
can't be starstruck.
You don't
and
like it was a fucking headache. I was like, I'm good on interns. Interns are a lot. My new intern, like if you want to be my intern, anybody that's watching this, it's gonna be a rigorous process.
That's actually what I was gonna ask you. If you want to be an intern or even work for you or just these kinds of jobs, period, like what advice would you give to somebody?
If they want to work for me?
You and then period.
Oh no, I mean if you want to be an intern, like just do your job. Like come in and grasp the knowledge and blah. Like I almost think like internships should have expirations. Mm-hmm. You know, like you can intern for 6 months. You know, and then if we want to extend it or 3 months, or it should be in an increment because like if you intern for me, I deal with people's sensitive information. Like, you know, this is a real game. This is not like a game. Like you have to come in and like be 100% blah blah. Plus the people that I work for and with are crazy. So if you know what I'm saying, you're an intern and you like do something crazy, these people are not the same as bunch. Like you're putting yourself in a bad situation. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like know that it's not a game. You know what I'm saying? These are people's real careers, people's real life. So even with interns, like that's why you hear these stories and they're like, oh, I don't want to be an intern and clean toilets and all that. The reason why they start them there is because you can't even, like you have to get to a certain level to even get with people's personal shit. Right. Like there's people's personal information and, you know, so. I would say if you're going to be an intern, please do the right thing. Like don't do like random stupid shit like I'm just gonna get his number and put it in my phone and then what? Yeah, so I would say just do your job and, you know, find the right fit. Mm-hmm.
Okay, how do you being an artist management, you do have to to some point or to some extent, I mean, be involved in their personal as well as business.
It's terrible.
So how do you draw the line there? You know, how do you know it's too much?
It's always too much. But it's interesting because as people grow, you have to know, like I said, like management is for me. It's just like it's just the type of person I am. Like I get it. Being a chameleon and being able to change with like all of my artists, we have a different relationship. None of us have the same relationship because in order for me to deal with Tommy, right, I have to be one way. You know, in order to deal with like a little WAP or you know something like, you have to be it's a totally different person. It's a totally different Amina. Like you would not know those people. If I'm talking to Keisha, I may speak in Patois like the whole time because we're Jamaican. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm dealing with, you know, Malaya or something, she may want to talk about the universe and like the energy and like it's totally different, you know, with every single person that you're with. So personal is relative to those people because personal with one of my clients that might have children might be us discussing our children and blah blah blah. Personal with someone who does not have children might be us discussing pet care or dogs or right. You know, something like, so it's kind of relative. I do stay away from relationships.
Okay.
Not with it. Pillow talk will murder you every time. Management's always rolls. So relationships, don't want to hear about them. As much as possible, just don't want to be involved unless you have 2 clients that are married. Like I said.
And then what?
And then you tuck and roll, you know? So, you know, that part.
Okay.
But, you know, most of the time people don't have that, you know, just me, Coach K, and P. Yeah, just us 3. So otherwise, like, you're good.
Yeah.
You know, that's the...
Because I know you got to keep them in check sometimes. So it's kind of like, how do you know, like, is there a line that you don't cross other than relationships, like as far as telling them you can't do this or you can't do that?
Like that they can't?
Yeah, as your artist.
No. Usually they can pretty much do whatever they want as long as they're like certain times, like if you say something that's crazy there's gonna be backlash, I'm like, dude, like, you know? Outside of that, then no. As long as it's, you know, tasteful in some regard, it's fine. Like if you're gonna say something like just totally out the blue, like I'll be like, no. But then usually they know that it's like, but if they really mean it, like what can you do? It's their thing, you know. But it's always good to let an artist be themselves. I worked with Doug for his whole career up until a little, you know, a couple years, and you know, imagine if I was like, oh, you know, no,
right, it's their brand.
No, he did. He's changed the climate of the fucking world, you know, with his shit that he does. You know what I'm saying? So he's, you know, a trendsetter, and it's fantastic. So all of the things that he was being ridiculed and teased about are the norm.
Yeah.
You know, like why is his pants so tight? Their jacket so all of y'all pants have gotten tighter and tighter and tighter till they're fit.
Everybody.
So
speaking of change, there's been a lot of change, not only in hip hop music, also in technology, in digital, in the social media world. With the evolution of all of these things, how does that change the job of an artist manager?
I think it makes it easier.
Yeah.
Social media definitely. No. Social media makes it easier to reach your fans, like directly, and brands, you know. But because in order to be an artist, they all have similar traits. Social media is not an artist's friend because they are emotional by nature. So when their emotions run wild, they write the worst fucking things ever. That is why social media is not a manager's friend all the way. Because like when they're in the height of their emotional rant that they all go through, every single one of them, it is a trait. If you're not an emotional and very emotional being, you cannot be an artist. Any artist. I'm talking about painter, I'm talking about musician, violinist, rapper, singer, whatever. Artist, period. Whatever art you're in. I don't give a fuck if you blow glass, right? If you're an artist, you're very emotional, highly sensitive. So, that being said, that is a fucking problem for management. Like, because you might wake up and be like, have 1,000 Google alerts, like, guess what this one said? And I'm like, you said what? Why would you say that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you get on social media and say that? And once it's there, it's there. Because somebody screenshot it, it's on the shade room, you wake up, it's on, you're like, what the fuck just happened? So that, I think, is the worst thing about that for management. But outside of that, it's great because, you know, it allows your artists to touch their fans directly. It's just very nice.
Okay. We're here in Atlanta, a city that's kind of really shaping and has been shaping for a while now, hip hop and the culture. How has Atlanta helped your career, or what kind of part has it played in your career?
I don't think I would be doing this if I didn't move to Atlanta. If I wasn't in Atlanta, I'm almost positive that I would not have been. I don't know what I would be doing, but it definitely wouldn't be this. You know, it's like New York is a very big town, so I mean, it's quite possible I would have been doing something in music, honestly, but it was easier, I feel like, to do it here. If that was going to be my path anyway. I definitely think that because in New York, you're a small fish in a big pond. In Atlanta, the pond's so much smaller. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say I was a big fish, but I was a regular sized fish. You know what I'm saying? But my pond's real small, so I'm looking bigger in this pond. You know what I'm saying? So it was just easier to get in to the circle than it would be in New York, which I know sounds weird.
No, I get it.
But it is, you know? Now though, the circle is very tight. Like, I don't know what happened, but maybe because we were all young. Like, everyone that's running, like, you know, or that's real intricate in the city now, we're not too far in age, right? So we were all like, you know, bubbling and moving, like DJ Holiday and Waka and Gucci, and Nicki was down here, and, you know, like Coach and all of them. Like, Coach was still the OG, but it was like he was still like with Jeezy and so like everyone was like forming, and Hannah and Tip was crazy, and, you know, like bubbling, and Luda and all of this. So like it was a good time to get in. You get what I'm saying? It was like Atlanta was like, you know, it was like open.
Yeah.
And all of the people were like just starting to, like, you know, to come up. So I got in then. Like, now, because like our culture is kind of formed, it's harder to like come from somewhere else and like get into the Atlanta scene now. But when I got here, it wasn't.
Is there anything that you have done throughout the years or to this day that's a part of your routine that you feel like has helped you get to where you are now? Just like, it could be anything little you do every single day, or something weekly, or you write down your goals, or you make a vision board, anything that.
I definitely always have goals set. Like, I want to be able to do this by this time and this and that. Like, I've always been like that kind of person. And if I set a goal, I always reach it. It's like, this is what we're doing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, even if it's like, I want to save this much money, or, you know, I want my kids to do this, or if I want to do this, business-wise, like, you know, when I was a certain age, I said I need to own property by this time. I met that goal. You know, I'm like, I always do that. Or I'll say, like, I have to get a diploma, like, by hook or by crook, I'm gonna do this. Like, I will always do those things.
And you just keep it in the front of your mind, or do you actually write them down?
Yeah, I keep it in the front of my mind. I write them down sometimes. Like, I just speak it into existence, like, every day. So it's like, I don't even have to put sticky notes, because I'm like, I know that. Like, I'm going to Egypt in October. That's what I'm doing. So I'm being Egypt in October. Somehow I'm being Egypt. I said I'm going to Jamaica, and I'm gonna drop my like. This is what it's just what I do, you know. And I don't care if I buy my ticket the day before I leave. I'm going.
You're going.
And that's just what it is.
Law of attraction.
And that's what happens, you know. It's just like, you speak things into existence and don't speak things into existence the same way.
Right. Well, finally, what is the number one piece of advice that you would offer to an aspiring artist, manager, or really just somebody trying to break into the entertainment industry, period, that you feel like if you're going to listen to one thing, you need to have this about you?
Stay the course. You know, if this is what you want, stay the course. Do not allow anything or anyone to derail you. And that seems easy to do, but it's super difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever door is shut in your face, if this and that, if this is something that you want, stay the course. And that is so difficult to do. Like,
Especially
which
means,
yeah, I mean, like, so that means not your child, not your husband, not your boyfriend who you think you're gonna be with, that you're probably not, you know, or your girlfriend, or just, like, or your grandmother, or your, you know what I'm saying? It's not that simple to do, you know, not to get taken off your path.
tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision, that you must have.
All right, well, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. Is there anything that you want people to know that they should look forward to? Your artist, maybe something you're working on?
July 13th was my first artist that I signed to Elevate Music. His name is Blackway. He's also signed to Republic too, by the way. Of course, you know that. But his album came out, Good, Bad, Faded, so please go check it out. He is fantastic. I don't say that often. It's the truth.
Make sure you guys check him out. And how can people follow you or get in touch with you? Not get in touch with you, but keep up with you.
I'm Amina Diop on Twitter. Just name Amina Diop, and I am Amina the Diop, THEDA is not a word, on Instagram. So that's it.
All right, thank you guys for watching.